Okay, so this one evolves out of some discussions that we had on the HERC about creating a process going forward to adopt an essential health benefit plan, so that we're on kind of a regular schedule to do this every 5 years. Right now, we have no process. And basically what happened is we all kind of looking at each other at the HERC one day, trying to figure out what we ought to do about a process. And NCSL put me in touch with the National Health Program, who gave me a 25-page report on best practices. And I took the best practices, put it into a bill. We discussed it at the HERC the day before session began, and that was the bill that got introduced. Since it's been introduced, there's been some other suggestions that have been made which are incorporated in the substitute. But basically, the idea is here that on this 5-year time frame, about 1/3 of the cicada cycle, I guess, we have to have a workholder group get together to talk about whether or not we need to make any changes in our essential health benefit plan. The Bureau of Insurance puts that together. Then the Bureau of Insurance makes some estimates based on that. They make a recommendation as to whether any changes ought to be made to the plan. Then they have to do an actuarial analysis of that. And then we have to have a whole bunch of public hearings to allow the public to say whether or not we need to add benefits or subtract benefits. We have to have an official public comment process. The feds require this. And then I think the bill has to go to the HERC at some point, and then the General Assembly has to eventually adopt legislation validating all that public process resulting in the plan. That's basically what this does. It creates a framework, which you guys will not see again until, 2030 maybe? Something like that, I think. 2030, Tom? Yeah.
Start in 2025, and the bill will come in 2026.
Yeah, okay. 2026, you'll get a chance to see the fruits of this for the first time, and then maybe in 2031 if any of us are still here. But that's basically what this does. And the bill you just passed happened because we didn't have a process, and so we had to do this emergency stuff last minute to catch up with something we had forgotten was going on.
Okay. Any questions of the patron by committee members? All right. Speaking in support of the bill, Doug.
Mr. Chairman, Doug Gray on behalf of the Virginia Association of Health Plans. So the practical impact for you all as committee members is you're going to kind of have a waiting room when you pass a new mandate. You'll apply it to large group, and then it'll kind of get in line to the next time this goes. I mean, that's kind of practically what this actually means, at least from the way I read it. So it's, there's obviously exceptions to that. There's always exceptions because it's legislation. But we support this process. We are the one of the few states where the Bureau of Insurance is not in the executive. And so in those states, the governor decides. Not in the executive branch.
Oh.
In those states, the governor decides. So one reason this is challenging for us and was challenging for CMS to sign off on was that we have a state corporation commission. And so we really want the legislature, or typically we have in the past, to be able to have its say. And that's a little different than the other states.
All right. Is there any opposition? There is not. Okay. Bills of Senator Morrison.
Yeah, question. When you go into the waiting room, do you get a number, or does it become discretionary as to which ones they take up and in what order?
Mr. Chairman, it depends on how you pass the bill. You could say this is now in line for the next time, or you could not say that and then have it taken up during that process. The fundamental discussion we had, Mr. Chairman, about the process when you're going to create a new EHB is whether you could add something that had not been through the process at HERC and been analyzed and looked at and had some actuarial work done. And that probably will be difficult to just slip something in at the end. You're going to need to probably be close to the waiting room to get in theory. But obviously there's flexibility. It's legislation.
Mr. Chairman, line management is always a problem.
Yes,
All right.
exactly.
Mr. Chairman, I would just note that I think at our last HERC meeting, we had something like 27 bills in the waiting room. I think. Is that right?
All right.
Oh,
Is there-
20?
Okay, bills before us.
Second.
Motion and a second to report Senate Bill 1397 as a substitute. All those in favor vote aye, those opposed, nay.
Ayes 15, no 0.